Talking as always in The Leftovers, which I really love the title of this, a new series on HBO. Actor and screenwriter Justin Theroux plays the police chief of a fictional town whose residents are still reeling 3 years after the sudden and mysterious disappearance of 2% of the world's population. We are delighted to have Justin with us this morning. Good to see you, Justin.
Thanks so much for having me.
I was telling you, I watched it HBO On Demand. Wow.
Wow.
For people who are not familiar, just bring them up to speed on what this series is about.
It basically is you can't not talk about The Leftovers without talking about the miraculous event that happens at the beginning, which is 2% of the world's population vanishes sort of, non-secularly without a trace, and the show really picks up 3 years later, and sort of all the reverberations and repercussions have already happened, and people are dealing with it in very different and very odd ways.
I will say it's heavy, yes. I mean, just by your description, but you can't turn away. And in many ways, Justin, it's relatable to what many of us face.
I agree. It's about grief, sorrow, loss, all these things that you think would be incredibly depressing topics, but it's grounded in such a reality. And at the end of the day, all those things are really expressions of love as well, or the re-seeking or trying to reconnect to the things that they've lost. And so it gets very odd and very strange. There's a mysterious element to the show, but it's also about people trying to find comfort, and as the series progresses, you'll see that. And
I know, and it's something, because I was wondering, and you thought that too when you first. And first of all, it's a beautiful script, and good writing,
wonderful writing.
But I was wondering, how do you keep this going week after week? And
I think eventually, I mean, at least in the making of it, I became less interested in the event is the event. And there's been events just in real life that are the events, and then eventually it's all focused in this small town of Mapleton, and hopefully people will become engaged in the lives of the people that are left behind,
the leftovers.
Yeah, the leftovers, so and there's incredibly good writing, and I obviously can't spoil too much of what's coming in the series.
Don't do it. Don't.
I won't do any of that.
I know, don't do it.
But we really do start to care about all the people that are sort of under this microscope, and I think that's going to be eventually the draw of the things that people gravitate
I suspect
towards.
I'm going to care about some people that I didn't think I was going to care about, but people they've got to watch it. It was wonderful to see you out with your, of course, fiance out on the red carpet for this. And let's see, you have 1 month from today is your birthday, August 10th, right? And we remember 2 years ago on your birthday, you popped the question.
Gift.
Yes, you were. So you have any other big surprises for this birthday?
This birthday, I think, will be just cakes, and who knows? We'll see.
And keep it at that this time around. It's hard to top after the proposal.
It's hard to top after the
proposal.
We're also loving the engagement as well. So
you look like you both are having a great time. We often see her on the cover of magazines. I'm going to show you on the cover. Have you seen this yet? Details?
Yes, I have.
Have you seen yourself? Look at this.
Oh,
and the way people that describe you, and what I really love, you've always been fashion forward. Now we call them skinny jeans.
Yeah.
But you were wearing that well before.
Well, if anyone remembers the 80s, they were called peg pants at the time.
Thank you.
And everyone went to great lengths to safety pin all their pants tight and all the rest of it. And then we went through a period of bell bottoms, which was a hard period for me because I was still rocking. And now we call them skinny jeans.
There's always been a style about you, and I've really been fascinated reading more about you and learning more about you and your childhood. And we have something in common about how we watch TV a lot. Fantasy Island.
Oh yeah.
The plane, and the Love Boat.
And the Love Boat, and Dukes of Hazzard, and the Super Friends, and I was also, as I think I said somewhere, at that time you could consume all of television. It was really only 4 channels. You could watch everything.
And UHF.
And get it on. Now it's like impossible to.
And is it true that you got that? You remember that? He was like trying with the rabbit ears.
Exactly.
Is it true that Gavin McLeod, he knocked you down in the airport?
Yes, it could have been a fever dream. I highly doubt it. But when I was a kid, I remember being in an airport, and I got plowed into by like toddlers do. I was probably walking around, and I just got flattened by Gavin McLeod. And I remember looking up and seeing the captain of the Love Boat staring down at me, and he said, "Oh, sorry," and blah blah, and picked me up and said, "Hi, I'm Gavin McLeod," or something like that. And then he walked away, and it altered my reality. was
And
not.
that
you think
explains
that'd be a
everything.
pleasurable experience, but it was not. It was more sort of your world. You sort of think you've had an aneurysm or something.
No. Hey, pleasurable experience spending time with you.
Thank
Exciting
you so
and
much.
new. Come aboard. Hey, thank you, Justin. All the
you.
best going forward. And a new episode of The Leftovers premieres Sunday night on HBO.